Wakefield and striker Michael Reeve.
Hello everybody, welcome to your watch along of the FA Cup fourth qualifying round between Chesterfield and Anstey Nomads. Hopefully we do not lose. Oh, I'm a bit shaky, but hopefully we don't lose.
Who also started at Chelsea in the third round last season.
But we just gotta keep the faith, just gotta keep playing the way we want to and go for it.
Well, a nice moment for many of the children who attend the special educational needs school that shares the ground and the facilities with Anstey Nomads. It was them that provided the guard of honour for the players for this huge FA Cup occasion. The pressure, though, is all on Chesterfield, Danny Weber.
That's right. You know, when you're playing a team that is, 4 tiers below you, inevitably the funds and the resources available to you are much bigger. The expectations.
So, guys, get your question in the chat, like, subscribe if you are new to the channel.
Played higher up and also had an earlier good spell with Chesterfield in his career. He won't want this as a potential banana skin for him. He'll definitely want to make sure that they get through.
As you can see, the Chesterfield players are wearing black armbands today, and we will have a silence ahead of kick-off for the man that masterminded their run to the semi-finals in 1997. John Duncan, he will rightly be remembered ahead of kick-off. Anstey Nomads today, very much a day for photo opportunities, and for those who don't normally attend games here, because crowds regularly in the low 100s, instead the best part of 1,500 crammed inside this tiny Cropston Road ground. Understandably, the whole community is out.
Come on, boys! Come on, Chesterfield!
To reach the first round proper. Well, the players do now gather around the centre circle to mourn the passing of the man who led Chesterfield to the semi-finals in 1997.
Come on, Chesterfield!
But the manager who made Chesterfield believe passed away earlier this week at the age of 73. He had 2 spells in charge of Chesterfield and also guided them to the Division 4 title in 1985. Sir Alex Ferguson and his captain back in 1997, Sean Dyche, amongst those who have paid tribute. What a day this promises to be. Anstey Nomads, can they do something they have never done before, reach the first round proper, or can Chesterfield avoid an upset? When the last time they appeared in this competition, they were the team looking to produce the giant killing. They will be eager that there are no slip-ups for them today. The National League side, who have joined the competition at this 4th round qualifying stage, very much the favourites to make it through to the first round proper.
The game is on the way. Anstey Nomads versus Chesterfield in the 4th round qualifier of the FA Cup for a place in the first round proper.
Counties League, Premier Division North. Fascinating stories to tell, Danny Weber, whenever you get involved in following the FA Cup.
Yeah, amazing. And, by rights.
Go on! Oh, offside already! Ah!
You say the FA Cup.
Thought he was through already.
Problems and can you go there and be in the right frame of mind if you're a Chesterfield player? When I was at Salford, we had Notts County come down and play us in a similar kind of, similar gap between leagues. And you could see when they got off the coach, he just didn't like the atmosphere. It was horrible at Salford. It was muddy, and it was. You could see in the frame of mind they were in that we had a chance of winning. And the Anstey Nomad players today will be pumped. They'll be ready for this game and hoping that Chesterfield are slightly off their game.
Well, Anstey are a team in form. They have got through 7 matches and 5 rounds of the FA Cup just to reach this stage, and they're unbeaten in 15 in all competitions. So Chesterfield will know that they are facing an opposition that is bristling with confidence. This is Darren Oldacre, one of those to come into the Chesterfield starting lineup. He's got some support from Dobra, who has missed the last 7 games with a nasty injury, but having trained all week and having come through a fairly rigorous examination of that injury in training yesterday, he's winning his team an early corner kick.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Cook's obviously used his previous clubs as a bit of a sort of scouting ground. He was at Ipswich Dobra as a young player. Signed, as you say, signed 2 years, and a lot of talent, young lad.
There's Dobra playing it in field, but the challenge on him was incredibly late, and that will be the game's first free kick. And Jeff King is across to oversee it, the only survivor of the starting 11 who was also in the starting lineup when they went to Chelsea in the 3rd round last season, albeit Liam Mandeville and Akwasi Asante, who scored the late consolation, both featured in that game as substitutes.
It's all about delivery. Can you put a good ball in here?
And it's King trying
Hello everybody, I am back. Put your question in the chat. Like, sub and subscribe.
To break clear, and this is good work by Reeve to scamper away into space. Some early excitement for the home side, and Reeves to
Get out!
Well, it was
Get
an
out!
inviting looking one just beyond the reach of a teammate.
Excellent play there from Reeve. You get the opportunity as a striker to just run your defender and see what he's made of, and he did exactly that. He left him for pace and had the composure to put the ball across. Unfortunately for Anstey, there was no one on the end of it, but just an early warning sign for Chesterfield to say that we've got legs, we're up for the game. Don't be complacent.
This is Grimes, the Chesterfield skipper. He's managed to find Asante. Oldacre. He's got the vastly experienced Mike Jones alongside him in midfield. Jones making his full debut for the club today, having made very nearly 500 league appearances during his time in League One and League Two. Stumble might just enable to get into an attacking position, but it all is clear, and it will be a Chesterfield throw.
You always see with Paul Cook's sides, he demands hard work from them. He demands for them to run. You hear him on the sideline, demanding that they do the right things, but he wants them to play football. And you'll see their approach play is normally quite good, and he has that little bit of experience in the middle of the park.
King making his 50th appearance for Chesterfield with the throw, and his cross has caused enough confusion.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Enabled Dobra to take over.
That's a free kick, ref.
Footwork from him. It was an inquiring look towards the referee Aaron Jackson as to whether there should have been a free kick. Anstey aren't enabling themselves or worrying.
Apologies for the actual BBC coverage of the game's actually gone down. Over a little bit, but it's now back.
Pretty much Chesterfield in control since the start, and looking to take advantage.
Oh, come on!
Scrambled clear as far as Asante. Dobra. Akwasi Asante.
Just hear Paul Cook and his coaches on the sideline saying, pass, pass, keep the ball. They know that it's important to keep the ball and try and demoralise the Anstey players who will be coming out really eager, really enthusiastic. So far, been quite resolute, despite Chesterfield's efforts to move the ball around quite quickly.
Well,
come on, Chesterfield, come on, boys.
One or two of his players have got a point to prove. They started the season in the National League. Did Chesterfield superbly well. They were the last unbeaten side, and they were top of the table until this run of 3 successive defeats since the start of October.
I think you're right. I mean, as he'll have said in the dressing room before the game, listen, you might not be in great form, but this is a very, very important match. We don't come here and mess up. You know, I want to see the right attitude. It's a chance for you to propel into a run of wins, which they obviously need. So it's you know, a big game for some of those players out there, despite the gap in leagues between the two teams.
Well, the ball has just cleared the buildings on the far side, which house the school, which has very strong associations with the club. Tony Blanchard, the Anstey manager, is director of the school, which serves the local community, educating children with special educational needs, and they very much enjoyed the cup fever over the course of the last week or so. The FA Cup even making a visit to the classrooms ahead of this game. It's a towering leap from Grimes to put the ball out of play for another throw.
Yeah, you can see the fun everybody's having, even in the crowd. You know, every time the BBC cameras are panning in, everybody's wanting to wave or get involved in it. It's a beautiful day for football.
It's Bayliss who's launching the long throws. It's back towards him by Armeni. First opportunity for Anstey Nomads to try and apply some pressure, but Chesterfield have done a good job of
Stop!
Yeah, just had good
We're
possession
doing
on the
alright,
box
we
there.
just need to not let him get ahead of ourselves.
Not managed to bring anybody else into play. He was looking for somebody just to support him, and Chesterfield managed to come in and nick the ball.
Back towards Quigley. The final touch was off an Anstey player, Beswick, across to concede the throw.
Important part, they'll play Beswick and Robinson in the middle there. You know, both of them need to make sure they're screening the front and shuffling across, organising the rest of the players around them, because Chesterfield are strong and got a lot of experience in the middle of the park.
Clements, the debutant, into the feet of Dobra. He's twisting and turning and trying to shrug off the attentions of Freddie Robinson. Now a chance for Hollis, with Armeni alongside him. Anstey trying to do what Chesterfield have been striving for, and to move the ball quickly from one side of the field to the other. It's Wolf getting forward from left back.
Come on, boys!
You see with Chesterfield, they allow Anstey to have a little bit of the ball, but the moment they get in those areas of the final third, they so far snuffing out the danger.
Well, it's a club that's growing, Anstey Nomads. It certainly has become a more integral part of the community over the course of the last decade or so. And this is a wonderful moment for them to allow many more members of the community to come and see football here than normally would be. As you can see, the crowd is really packed in quite tightly at a venue that all sorts of bits of paperwork have had to be filled out just to enable them to host this many people today.
I think it's on days like this you do realise how important the local football clubs are. There'll be certain people at the game
Go on!
who won't realise.
Yes!
Oh, that's a wonderful
Yes! Get in! Armando Dobra, get in!
He has struck early for National League Chesterfield.
Get in!
And deserve their lead.
Yeah,
1-0.
ball in from Jeff King. Dobram evades his marker and he's on the spot. Keeper's out the way and he manages to control his header into the back of the net. He's been bright, young Dobra, as we mentioned early on.
Amanda Dobra, 1-0 Chesterfield.
Dobra last scored back on the opening day of the league season in a 2-2 draw with Dorking, and it was one of those players who gave Chesterfield a really big lift coming into this game, that he was available again, and Paul Cook, no hesitation to throw him straight in from the off. and he has responded with a goal.
Yeah, he has, and you can almost see that's just made Paul Cook relax a little bit. The fact they've got the early goal, and the cross is absolutely superb. As Jeff King, the fullback, just puts it right on his head, and Dobra has to just guide it in. Superb start, and exactly what Chesterfield needed.
Anstey will be mightily disappointed. That would have been the last thing that they would have wanted on their big day out in the FA Cup, to concede a goal inside 10 minutes.
The response will be interesting, Stephen. It will be, you know, have they got the composure to move the ball around? Yes, you're 1-0 down, but all these people have come out to see you and support you. Can they tap into the energy of the crowd?
Dig a little bit deeper. Aside from the United Counties League Premier Division North, the 9th tier of English football, the 5th tier, the 5th step of non-league football, looking to conjure an immediate response, and there was some uncertainty which eventually Ross Fitzsimons has extinguished.
It's not the worst ball in there from Joel Wolf. Oh, he's looking for, I think it was Wakefield coming in at the back post, but not a bad delivery at all.
Chesterfield! 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 Chesterfield!
Try and get one of his attacking players in behind, but we've not seen a huge amount either of Harry Wakefield or Sam Hollis in support of Michael Reeve as yet.
When you're looking at it, they've decided to set up a
Come on, Chesterfield.
in the hope that they can then get.
See if we can get one more goals.
As we saw in the first couple of minutes, so you know, he could maybe run the defenders, but Chesterfield are controlling the ball and you know, not giving them much chance to cause them any problems.
Haven't lost since the opening day of the league season, all the way back at the end of July. Anstey, they are very much deep into the FA Cup from their point of view through right. A little bit of good fortune along the way, twice coming through replays, and they've only had to play one side ranked higher than them before today, beating Ilkeston Town of the 7th tier after a 3-3 draw in the replay on penalty kicks. Old Acre.
Go on!
Pass. Chesterfield could be in again.
Yeah!
And but for the post would have been further.
Oh.
Well, the Anstey defence opened up a little bit too easily there. And Conrad Logan, grateful the ball came back to him off the frame of the goal.
Yes, an absolutely superb ball. It's Oldacre just clips it in behind. It's a touchdown from Jeff King, the fullback again, and you think he scored, and he hits the post and lets Anstey off, but it's a great ball. Diagonal ball, straight run, superb play from Chesterfield.
I wonder whether Conrad Logan got a little piece of that to turn it onto the post. Tony Blanchard now hoping that his side, having rapidly gone from one end of the field to the other, can get themselves level when they were so very nearly 2-0 down. Corey Armeni is the player standing over the corner, who scored twice in the last round, the 5-0 win over Shefford. Armeni delivers. Fitzsimons came and didn't gather. In from Hollis, but harmlessly behind in the end. But that's a good response from Anstey, who very nearly were out of the cup tie before we'd seen much more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the set pieces could play a big part in them getting back into the game, and it wasn't a bad delivery at all from, I think it was Armeni who took the corner. It was a good ball in from him. Chesterfield again managing to clear it, but you know, they're in this. They're trying. They've not submitted. There's a long way to go.
Here's Oldacre, who created that opportunity for King a few moments ago. Oh, given away and seized upon by Reeve, who might have capitalised and was unable to do so. Oldacre spreading the play for King once more. King, the creator of the goal, is held up by Wolf, and it's away by Annabelle.
King's got the freedom of that right-hand side. You know, Mandeville's coming in, and the fullback doesn't know whether to go with Mandeville, whether to go to King. He's finding himself in a bit no man's land.
Dobra. the goal scorer. Clements, Asante, Oldacre. Clements didn't go when Dobra thought he would. The offside flag is up against Joe Quigley.
You can see the little passages of play that are worked on, and you hear Paul Cook saying 3v2, trying to isolate and create an overload by moving the ball. On that occasion, it was Dobra who just clipped the ball in behind, not on the same wavelength as Bailey Clements, but it was Quigley who was in an offside position who tried to recover it.
Conrad Logan, ever present in the Anstey Nomads goal, plays for free. Has a goalkeeping academy locally. He's one of the youth coaches here. He's the director of football. And knows about reaching Wembley. Finally did so with Stockport in 2008, the League Two playoffs. I don't think anyone's expecting him to repeat the journey all the way this season.
He's got the experience. I'm sure he's let a few of the lads know in the dressing room that he's played at Wembley before.
Hannibal sends it back to the goalkeeper. Yeah, his Stockport team 3-2 winners over Rochdale that day, another of his former clubs. In fact, he reached the fourth round of this competition with Rochdale as recently as 2017.
Quite Chesterfield.
As well, Conrad Logan, he didn't waste it, just clipped it in.
Oh, the challenge there was late from Jones, and that's angered one or two of the Anstey Nomads.
Yeah, dangerous. Just going in a little bit late, as you say. Mike Jones, with all the experience, and he's gone straight into Lewis Gibbons, who's felt.
Just to let you guys know that I am doing a watch on later of England versus Samoa in the Rugby League World Cup, and the second game from the World Cup, which is Australia versus Fiji.
At this level, having had spells with Leicester and Mansfield, so they will be hopeful that Lewis Gibbons will be back on his feet soon.
I think the likes of Mike Jones, when you've got that experience in the middle of the park, you sometimes identify who the threats are, and flew into that tackle, and he'll be looking now to see how Lewis Gibbons reacts. Good to see him back up again though.
His day job is working for the manager as a teaching assistant at the Wharfdale School, which runs along the side of the pitch on the far side. Anstey free kick, plenty to aim at.
Do compete in the air very well every time the ball goes up, and that's why I say set pieces could play a big factor. You know, if you can get the delivery right here, I'm sure they would have worked on this throughout the week, knowing that it could be a difference maker.
It caused a bit of confusion with their last corner kick, and the opportunity to do so again. Once more, it's Many, who has been charged with overseeing it.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Fans so close, so on top of the game, involved in it.
The great thing about being that close is when you give the players advice, they can actually hear you, unlike when you're screaming it from the back of a standard of Premier League ground.
I think Paul Cook always makes his voice known, wherever he is.
The referee's assistants get plenty of grief at these kind of places as well. It is Many with the corner. Well, it's an ambitious effort, but why not have a go? Sam Hollis taking aim.
Yeah, his eyes lit up as it falls to him on the edge of the box. Sam Hollis doesn't quite get his technique right, but he's in the right place. Gets the first good shot away, or first shot away for Anstey Nomads.
Sante is the player in pursuit. The Anstey captain Jordan Annabelle dealing with that danger.
Come on, Chesterfield.
As well there, Jordan Hannibal. You know, he tracks the run of Kwasi Asante. Could hear Paul Cook saying you're in, and all those things will be ringing in his ears, but he was calm and cleared the ball. Good job there for his team.
Cook for King. Chesterfield looking to rediscover the rhythm that earned them their 1-goal lead inside the first 10 minutes. Jamie Grimes, the captain, has played every minute at the heart of their defence this season. Armando Dobra for Darren Oldacre. Jones for Mandeville.
Done well, Anstey. Just not giving gaps away. It's really hard when the teams get a lot of possession, but they're doing a very good job closing down, harassing. On that occasion, Corey Armeni doing the hard yards. Well, it's not easy to break down a team when they're organised in this way.
Yeah, just a little bit of a sense that they're settling into the challenge as it's steered away from danger again by Hannibal, who his manager described as a good player that they are lucky to have.
Come on, lads.
Mandeville with the burst forward. Quigley had come from further forward and had come from an offside position.
Yeah, he's trying to gain advantage quickly by getting as high as he can and pushing the centre halves as high as he can, but that's twice now he's been caught offside. Not what your team needs when you're trying to build momentum, or as a striker they need to bounce off you.
Dobra. Chesterfield not playing like a side that has lost its last 3 games. They really feel as though this is the opportunity today that they badly need to get back to winning ways. They are among the favourites for promotion from the National League, but we have learnt over the course of many a season now that it is very, very difficult to guess what is going to happen in the highly competitive 5th tier of English football.
Yeah, and the way when they changed the structure a few years ago, that it's even more difficult now to get out of the National League, and there's a lot of investment gone in. You saw the likes of obviously Salford have done it after a couple of attempts, and Wrexham a push have had a lot of investment as well. So it's about consistency. It's about getting your goals and having goals in your team.
Well, slowly but surely, Anstey Nomads are starting to understand what's required of them on this big FA Cup occasion. And this is another opportunity for Ben Bayliss, another who's had time at Leicester and Mansfield, to launch a long throw. But most of what comes into the penalty area is dealt with emphatically by Jamie Grimes.
Yeah, he's big figure of Grimes, captain, the leader. He'll be demanding that, well, leading by example, but demanding to get the head on it.
Bayliss again with the throw. Oh, that is some save. Fitzsimon's incredible reactions from point-blank range. Anstey thought that was the equaliser.
Yeah, as it drops there, the first header's it's not clean from anybody, but it drops in the box. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but Anstey were first to it. Great attempt.
Relief for Chesterfield. Anstey Nomads eventually creating the sort of opportunity that they had been hoping for from those long throw situations. Misplaced by Beswick, and that enables King now to carry the ball forward. Mandeville riding the challenge from Armeni.
Decided to overload down that side. They had a lot of joy early on in the game. Chesterfield through King and Mandeville. As you see there was 4 of the Anstey players making sure that they didn't get through as easily. It shows the smelling where the danger's coming from, and as you say, Stephen, coming into this game.
Well, Hollis was the one in the best position to burst beyond the Chesterfield defence there, but knew he would have been in an offside position if he'd continued his run. Much more competitive all of a sudden. And that's credit to the home side. From step 5 of the non-league system.
Come on, boys.
Seen him looking for Michael Reeves. You know he's got a bit of pace about him. You know, he put his hand up. The ball wasn't great, but he acknowledged the fact that his teammates saw him and tried to play it. Just hearing in Paul Cook's voice how important this is to Chesterfield. You know, and the difference in leagues and the fact that, you know, you don't want to come down and play a team 4 tiers below and make it more difficult than you need to or be embarrassed. So far, Anstey equipped himself very well.
Here's King. Maybe tried to do a little too much on his own on that occasion. Grimes can help Chesterfield stay on the front foot. Dobra. He was sent tumbling by Robinson. They will need to get closer to him, Anstey, if they're to stop Dobra influencing the game, but that was perhaps a little too close.
The referee was allowed it to happen. I mean, Dobra, you've seen him when he's on the ball at times. He's, you know, he's dancing around. He's dancing, got the happy feet. He wants to try and jink past people. And I think as a defender, you've got to try everything to stop them. Give him a dig. Does it? How does he respond to that? Does he still want the ball? Because you can see he's got the quality to cause problems.
Grimes. Oh, lovely. Asante.
It's a ball.
Put this splendidly, have Chesterfield once again close to a second goal, but for an outstanding piece of defending, they might just have had it.
That's amazing. Lewis throws his body on the line. And we mentioned before about how important he is for the team, but that's superb. He spots the danger. We're all waiting to see who comes onto it, gets there first. The strike was made, and Gibbons was superb.
We thought that might have been an Anstey throw, not to be. As he challenged Cook.
Can be a bit of a thankless task up there sometimes by yourself. You know, you work tirelessly as a number 9, looking for an opportunity. You don't have much of the ball as a team, so it's important in little instances when it is around you that you try and make something happen. It's of massive value to your team.
Well, that tackle deems to be a little too on the robust side, and we have the game's first yellow card for Corey Armeni.
Just a little overzealous there, Corey Armeni. I don't think malicious, just trying to leave his print on the game a little bit. You know, he's a set piece taker and he's harassed players around him when he's had the opportunity.
Well, he is one who has played at a higher level, one of those that's been away from Anstey Nomads, tried his luck a little bit further up the pyramid, gravitated back to the club, but we'll perhaps be seeing this today as an opportunity to demonstrate that he can mix it against better players.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, one of the things you always say to players is you never know who's watching. And you could put in a performance today that the club higher up thinks, you know what, that's exactly what I need in my team.
Anstey taking over after Hollis stumble. Not giving up though, is he? Makosi and Asante.
Does well for his team there, Asante. You know, keeps the pressure on, manages to win the ball back and get possession back for Chesterfield.
Grimes. Beaten at Eastleigh last weekend, Chesterfield. That was their first defeat away from home, though, this season. Got themselves in front on their travels today, but they've found Anstey Nomads, the village team from Leicestershire, just the other side of the A46 to the outlying suburbs of Leicester, to be much more competitive in the last 10 or 15 minutes than they were as they settled into the standard in the first quarter of an hour.
They really have. I think the goal was a good cross and stunned them a little bit, but they've reacted. Chesterfield hit the post slightly afterwards, and at which point you think Chesterfield are going to carve them open at any given opportunity, but they haven't. They've come together, Anstey.
Robinson left his boot in and has been penalised to the tune of a free kick and a brief word in his ear on the way past, but no more than that from Aaron Jackson, the referee. Ross Fitzsimons, deputising in goal for Chesterfield today, has played European football this season. 4 games in qualification for the Europa Conference League for St Joseph's, the Gibraltar side who he left for Chesterfield in August. Very interesting campaign he's had thus far.
You had my mind thinking then about where could it be, but no, fair play to him.
He's covering in goal for the regular Chesterfield #1, Lucas, the Brazilian, who's one of those who's not available due to injury today. Dobra in between two, and despite being outnumbered and outmuscled, is still the one that's penalised.
I think Dobra's sick of being the one who's being kicked, and he's decided, let me just throw my weight around a little bit as well, show him up for the fight.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Occasion gives the foul away, but you need to when you're a small player. People will try and impose himself on you, and he's shown he's not intimidated.
Former Leicester City goalkeeper Conrad Logan with the free kick, and what a delivery it was.
Oh, you have to be careful.
A little bit more deftness of control from Armeni, and anything could have been possible.
Yeah, he's a great ball in. You know, he's got good weight on his deliveries, Conrad Logan. And again, it's Armeni in the mix, trying to make something happen.
Head of Quigley. He too seems a little surprised to have been penalised.
Referee just making sure he keeps control of the game. A few nudges, nothing malicious, but a few nudges and tackles going in. He wants to make sure it remains competitive without going over the top.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Last faced Thomas Tuchel as a manager in the FA Cup. Very different set of surroundings and circumstances for him against Anstey Nomads, and it was back in January against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Just shows the beauty of the FA Cup. It really does, you know, as you say, the difference of playing Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea, and the next minute you're playing against Anstey, who I'm sure a lot of people with respect hadn't heard of.
Oh, in towards Quigley, lovely delivery.
Oh, they're not scored.
Quigley can only smash the effort against the crossbar.
They've hit the bar this time.
It's almost one of those as a striker where you're overthinking, it's coming, and you know you put a little bit too much on it. But yeah, bread and butter, you should be scoring those.
Well, twice now they've rattled the frame of the Anstey goal, and then presented with pretty straightforward opportunities to extend the advantage.
Yeah, and every time that happens, you know, Anstey will be sat there infused. You know, it doesn't knock the stuffing out of you, whereas if it hits the back of the net, you're looking at a bigger mountain to climb, and it will make Chesterfield more nervous.
Quigley looking to make amends now by creating for somebody else. Asante.
Go on, Asante.
For the turn.
Oh, lucky.
This is to where
Lucky Mandeville.
Just hard for Anstey to get out because they have everybody back defending. They only have Michael Reeve up there. It's difficult for him against the experience of the Chesterfield defenders.
Oldacre decided against shooting for himself. Instead, Clements a cross that clears even the supporters behind the goal.
Yeah, it does ever so well to make the yards up and be there, but delivery has to be better. We'll be disappointed with that one, Bailey Clements. work so hard to get in the final third. You know, managers get really frustrated when the final ball's not great or the finish isn't there. I've seen a good example of Jeff King, who got the assist for the goal, and that was a great crossing.
Cook's header away. Super footwork from Mandeville. And now Dobra taking over. Sante with the burst ahead of him. Hollis though with the defending and the clearance, and now Reeve all on his own. What can he achieve? I think they cut too much ground, did Michael Reeve, but he has been one of Anstey's outstanding players this season. He was the captain last season, was stripped of that captaincy ahead of the new campaign, and by all accounts has been a better player for it ever since.
Yeah, sometimes a captaincy can weigh a little bit heavy on you, and you just want to go out there and play your football, and you can see why he would score goals at that level. You can see he's got pace, he's got that work rate as well. I just like to see him operating a little bit closer to goal.
Come on, lads.
The tie demands different things from him today.
Bayliss, the Anstey Nomads right back, works early shifts. Always the first out of the dressing room after an evening game. Got to get home, got to get some couple of hours sleep in before back to the day job. That is not something that clubs entering the FA Cup at the later stages need to worry too much about with their players.
No, that's what I love. I mean, going back to when I started at Salford, they were in a league above this, and it was similar. Lads were late, or lads, had to get up early the next morning to do different types of jobs, and it really does show the passion for the game when you're travelling up and down the country, and that's your commitment.
A lot of these Anstey lads work in education one way or another, whether that's classroom teaching or whether it's football coaching, and many of them involved in and around the club here. There's a tattoo artist on the bench, a lad that works for the builders merchants, Jewsons. So plenty of variety. It only as far as how many. Feeling is if they can get him on the ball in pockets of space, then he might be able to create something. He might be able to bring Hollis and Wakefield into the game, and Reeve has won the ball back for himself and has won a free kick in a great position.
Excellent play from Reeve in an area where he can try and do some damage and give him the ball to Corey Armeni, but he just comes on the blind side, nicks in, gets his body in, and as the Chesterfield midfielder tries to clear it, he doesn't have chance and he kicks Michael Reeve instead. Big opportunity this, really big. You just touched on Corey Armini being a threat.
And doesn't Tony Blanchard, who turned 50 on Thursday, a milestone birthday that he's not yet been able to enjoy with everything that he's had to organise ahead of this game. He's not just the manager and the head coach, he's the licensee on the bar. He helps out with all the work that's needed around the ground, fills in the health and safety paperwork, set up the marquee behind the goal. A little bit of everything.
Thank you very much. I hope.
His team can capitalise on what looks a very, very presentable situation. As good a side of goal as Anstey Nomads have had in the first half.
My camera's not frozen, it's just I'm not moving because I'm watching the game, folks.
Yeah, easy in the end for Fitzsimons, but as the ball goes past the wall and you think, has he got a chance? Had one of the Anstey players run across the keeper's eye line, it might have been more of a problem, but it was an easy one in the end for Fitzsimons.
Maybe Harry Wakefield has found his range. Something similar a bit later on in the game will be dispatched with more precision. Paul Cook remains the only man to have beaten Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in an FA Cup tie that wasn't played at Wembley Stadium. He's got some interesting distinctions, hasn't he, in his FA Cup managerial career? That was the year that he led Wigan to the quarter-finals in 2018. Will Grigg on fire for the solitary goal that saw off Manchester City.
I remember it caused quite a stir because City were flying at that moment in time, and Paul Cook had other ideas.
Hollis. Too much on that for Reeve. Recent game against Thomas Tuchel, a victory over Pep Guardiola. Now it's Tony Blanchard and Anstey Nomads, as Danny was saying earlier. FA Cup stories at every stage of the competition, and always fascinating tales to tell. Now there's going to be a big claim for a Chesterfield penalty, but the decision is goal kick. And Conrad Logan is less than impressed with what he saw happening in and around his penalty area.
Yes, on first watch there, he went down. I think it was Mandeville with the ball. He went down, and I thought it was a penalty, but you look at the reaction of the players, and not many of them protested. And leads me to think it definitely wasn't a good shout for a penalty. Not great range on his kicking, Conrad Logan. I know he's played higher up, but you can see his technique, the way he manoeuvres the ball.
And he played 23 times in the Championship for Leicester. As part of the Hibernian side that beat Rangers in the Scottish Cup final in 2016. So he certainly had his moments, and it was thought when it was first mentioned to him as he was working around the area coaching some of the young kids, particularly with a focus on goalkeeping, that when he was first mentioned as a possible signing for Anstey, that it would be brushed off as nothing more than a humorous moment. But he was immediately up for it. He settled, enjoyed the area. Why travel to play slightly higher up, further afield, when you can enjoy your football locally? Amen. Down for Hollis. And it's Wakefield, Anstey's captain, Anstey's top scorer rather, who was thinking that might just have opened up for him.
Yeah, you could just see it there. Bailey Clement who got fouled, but you could see there, you were thinking, how's it going to fall? Is somebody going to take the strike? But as you say, a little bit overzealous there, giving the foul away against Bailey Clement.
Tony Blanchard isn't sure whether this is his 4th or 5th year as manager. He became a bit disorientated during the seasons that were impacted by the COVID pandemic. His association with the club goes back a decade or so. He started playing for the reserve team just after his 40th birthday, and had been involved in football in and around this area for 3 years prior to that. Grimes with the header forward, but at the feet of Hollis. Reeve at full stretch. A tangle involving the referee, which has enabled Chesterfield to take over. Hannibal safely back to his goalkeeper.
It's been quite calm, Hannibal, when the ball's been in and around him, and he seems to pick up good positions and spot the danger. Important member for the Anstey team.
He's had a couple of decent runs with a previous club, AFC Mansfield, which the 3rd round of qualifying on a couple of occasions for them. So he will no doubt be enjoying the fact that he's managed to go one step further with Anstey Nomads this season, and to within one victory of the first round proper. And who's to say, as we tick into the final minute of the first 45, that victory isn't still something they can achieve today, trailing by just a solitary goal to National League opposition. Here's Quigley, one of those who's had a glorious opportunity to get a second for the visitors. Asante.
Go on!
Once again.
Asante! Aquasi! Asante! It's 2-0. That might have just put us through the first round proper of the FA Cup. Ding dang doo. Right moment, right time. Quasi Asante 2-0 Chesterfield.
Into the bottom corners. Superb from Asante, and I think it's exactly what Chesterfield needed just before the half-time whistle.
The player that scored their consolation goal at Stamford Bridge in the 3rd round last season. And here's wait for a goal that dates back to August, with another in the FA Cup to make it Anstey Nomads 0, Chesterfield 2.
I'm on my way to Stockport versus Wrexham.
Going into half-time, if it was still 1-0, Now, Paul Cook could be saying, listen, lads, you need to take your chances. That puts a slight different complexion on the game. That said, we want to make sure they do take the chances when they come and not make it a difficult second half for them.
Forward by Clements to the scorer of that second goal, Kwasi Asante. It's been fouled. Chesterfield with a free kick in the very final few seconds of the 1 minute of stoppage time.
That's twice in the last few minutes. Bestwick's gone in a little bit heavy over the Chesterfield player. He's obviously trying to wrestle his team's way back into it in a different way. Chesterfield have knocked the ball around well though.
Half time, folks. Anstey Nomads 0, Chesterfield 2.
Lots of banana skins all located in exactly the same place, but Paul Cook's side have come through the first half pretty impressively. They led inside 10 minutes through the returning Armando Dobra, who headed in from close range, and they scored very late in the first half as well. Kwasi Asante giving Paul Cook's side a little bit more comfort, having twice in between hit the frame of the goal. King post.
Chesterfield! Chesterfield!
From the referee, but in fairness, his team have been second best. And at half time, it is Anstey Nomads 0, Chesterfield 2.
So at half time, folks, and Chesterfield are 2-0 up. Thank you for the likes, I highly appreciate it. End to end, though. Well done, folks. Guys, put your question in the chat, like, subscribe if you are. If you're in the chat, put your questions in.
Giants battle it out for the Rugby League World Cup. Starts today at 1:15 on BBC One and iPlayer.
I know my place.
My place is with the greats. My place is breaking my own record.
Be back in a bit. It won't be long.
Our piece is here.
It's a huge moment for sport, and there's a feeling that this match will be felt for generations to come.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sports app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insights and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result! Download the BBC Sports app for everything you need to know about your team this season.
The legendary rugby league player Clive Sullivan.
His achievements were outrageously good.
How did a little boy who dreamed of playing for Wales end up almost unknown in his homeland, but a hero in the north of England?
I think the people who are in charge have a lot to answer for in South Wales.
He's a trailblazer, but an absolute hero.
Clive Sullivan, rugby league legend. Watch on iPlayer.
I'm here to see what we can do with this club.
Our aim is to win the league and get promoted. I do find it hard juggling the football and the work.
To bring it home, you have to start somewhere. Squad goals. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
We need a holiday.
Oh yes! BBC iPlayer. Love what you find. Find what you love. Binge watch brilliant shows. Enjoy full series from current to classic. Find your next big obsession.
Nice to meet you. A pleasure.
Just press red for the best way to watch TV on BBC iPlayer.
I'm now joined by Home Office Security Minister Isaac Turner.
Good evening, Felicia.
Whoever's behind this is watching everything we do.
They're hacking my interviews and changing my word.
They're as guilty of it as they are. Don't lie to me.
They are killing dissidents and attacking our national broadcast. These are acts of terror.
The Capture Series 2.
Hello everybody, I am back. Get your question in the chat, like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Well, folks, let's hear your questions. And let's get them answered. I'll try my best for you. So guys, keep putting your question in the chat, like, sub and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It's half time in Chesterfield 2. Anstey Nomads, no. Chesterfield! Chesterfield, Chesterfield, Chesterfield. Just going to open the second half, we just push on like we have in the first half and go for it second half. Because at the moment we're doing the team proud, we're doing what we needed to do to get the result. So hopefully we can get a result. and get the right one. We just gotta keep our heads above the water and hopefully we get a good result. It's just one thing I always will say, we just gotta play well. That's all we can afford to do. It's not going to be easy. I didn't think this game would be easy, but it turned out at the moment be interesting to see if we bring any players on for the second half. But it looks like the players are on their way out for the second half, folks.
Well, welcome back to our coverage from Cropston Road, Anstey, in Leicestershire, the home of Anstey Nomads, one of the lowest ranked sides left in the FA Cup, one of 3 sides from the 9th tier, along with Ashington FC and AFC Bury, who are the lowest ranked side left. They trail though at half-time to National League Chesterfield, who are fully deserving of their 2-0 lead, having dominated a majority of the first half. Danny Webber, any hope of a cup upset still, or do you expect the 5th tier side under the guidance of Paul Cook just to ease through this second half?
I do expect Chesterfield to comfortably take this one now. I think, you say Paul Cook has got the experience. Here he's demanding from his team, and even warned them about the pitfalls of the potential in the second half. So I just don't see Anstey getting back into it. It'd be nice to see them get back into it. They've definitely put a fight up so far. I just don't see them having enough to go and get 3 goals to win this game without Chesterfield replaying. And Chesterfield, I think, will score a couple more.
The one thing he doesn't want is a replay. He won't be here for it. He's behind the wheel of one of 2 minibuses heading to Luton Airport tomorrow morning. The Anstey manager, Tony Blanchard, to go to Spain to celebrate his 50th birthday with family and friends. So it's not just about getting 2 goals to earn a replay. That's the last thing he requires. It'll be on Tuesday, and someone else will have to oversee proceedings because neither he or his assistant manager will even be in the country. There is a change at half-time for Chesterfield. One of their goal scorers, Armando Dobra, has been withdrawn. And George Cooper, with huge experience, very nearly 200 appearances.
Go on, Cooper.
His time in League 1 and League 2 with the likes of Crewe, Peterborough and Plymouth. He's on to provide a bit of experience, and Dobra, only just back from injury, not required to contribute more than 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think that they'll be happy with the 45 minutes they got from Dobra. He got himself a goal, got on the ball, and sometimes when you're coming back from injury, it's good not to rush you.
Second half is underway, and Anstey Nomads 0, Chesterfield 2.
Anstey get us underway. Aside from the United Counties League, Premier Division North.
Just keep your questions coming, folks.
Journey in the FA Cup is to continue as far as the first round proper. That is where Chesterfield are hoping to be for the 2nd season running, and for the 3rd season since they were required to start entering this stage of the FA Cup when they dropped into the National League 5 years ago.
Keep your questions.
And now a demonstration of what is possible. That run through the first and second round last season that took them to Stamford Bridge for a meeting with the then holders of the Champions League trophy. But Anstey Nomads, this is what the FA Cup's about. These kind of opportunities for Chesterfield. It's about getting that chance.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Opposition quickly, looking to further stretch their advantage early on in this second half. Clements, who's been trapped back by Hollis. Clements has managed to see off that particular challenge. And eventually it's swept away by Annabelle.
I will say that Annabelle and Gibbons, they've been good at centre half. They've cleared a lot of the things that have come their way. They've been strong, resolute, been in the right positions for the majority of the time.
King for Mandeville. He's pulled back into a pretty inviting area, but Anstey doing a good job of resisting that early pressure. Reeve, though, is having to work really hard deep inside his own half. Anstey would much rather, as Danny Webber pointed out in the first half, have their number 9, who has 6 goals already this season, 2 of them in the FA Cup. A much more threatening area of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very tough task when you're playing up there on your own. I said in the first half, you don't have much of the ball, so you end up coming deeper and deeper, as you saw on that occasion.
Logan with another one of those very impressive clearances, which turns into a decent looking pass, this time just beyond the reach of Reeve.
Reeve just turned around and applauded. It was almost on the end of his toe. He knew that could have been a big opportunity for him.
Jones, the summer signing from Barry.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Grimes moving it further forward, and now here's Asante. His second goal in the final minute of the first 45 certainly has enabled Chesterfield to feel a bit more relaxed about the position they find themselves in. There was one scary moment at 1-0 when Fitzsimons came up with a truly exceptional save with an effort from point blank range to keep it at 1-0. Mandeville, no way past Robinson. This is Wakefield.
They need more from Wakefield and Hollis when they get the ball out wide. Just relying on them to carry the ball for them. They can't lose it as easily as he did there, Harry Wakefield.
Something dispossessed, but wins the throw. And this is far and away a bigger crowd than anything Anstey would normally play in front of, something between 1 and 200 more often than not. When Chesterfield first got in touch after the draw was made, they were inquiring about bringing 1,500.
Oh, unlucky. Unlucky Mandeville.
Mandeville that's sailed well clear of the target.
Yeah, you can hit them. I've seen Mandeville hit them from outside the box before. A couple of seasons ago I saw him hit one, I think it was against Salford.
What clubs lower down the pecking order in terms of the football pyramid hope if they do have these deep FA Cup runs, which generates interest not just from the local community but from the local media, is that some of these supporters keep coming back on a more regular basis, because that little bit of extra money, that extra £5 or £10 here and there from those paying on the gate, can make a huge difference to clubs at this level. They've had a goalkeeper, experienced goalkeeper they've got, who plays for free. And those are the kind of bits of benevolence, I guess, that they require if they are to thrive and survive. So hopefully 1 or 2 of those who may be experiencing Anstey Nomads for the first time, like what they've seen, and will be regulars supporting what is undoubtedly a community asset. I know it is a bit of an issue. They've needed the local council to help out ahead of this game in terms of logistics, because even when the kids are playing here, it can cause a bit of gridlock around the ground in the village of Anstey. So those are the kind of things that they have to deal with, have to get the balance right. Jones for Chesterfield. Want to embrace the local community rather than infuriate them.
Yeah, of course, and it is a one-off occasion, and there's from Anstey's point of view, they're hoping it's not. But you know, when they're filling out the stadium like this, you know, they want to involve local people.
King from Mandeville.
Oh,
Able though to steer the ball across the face of goal. Mandeville.
come on, Anstey Nomads. They're 2-0 down, they ain't coming back. They don't even look like scoring.
Down that right-hand side, and as the game went on, Anstey, you know, brought more players over to stop that threat. It seems to be open again, although Chesterfield are knocking the ball around with conviction.
Grimes for Clements, who signed from Ipswich in June and is finally making his debut at left back today with Brandon Horton, one of those not involved in the matchday squad. He would normally occupy that position.
Come on, Chesterfield.
The ball goes forward, you get possession of the ball as an Anstey player goes forward, and you know, they just need to put together one or two passes as well.
I always shy when we are winning 2-0.
So they're not always chasing, get a feel on the ball.
At least that might bring some confidence back into the team, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
This is Wakefield. And he's scored 9 goals this season in all competitions, a lot of them recently, including 2 just a couple of weeks ago. And a 5-0 win over Shepherd Town and Campton in the previous round of the FA Cup. But Chesterfield have thus far managed to keep him relatively quiet.
Yeah, need to get it down, just relax. It's a bit of a hot potato at the moment for Anstey. If you want to get back into it, just knock the ball around, change the pace. I think if you're Michael Reeve and you're up top,
Come on, boys.
you're saying, look, give me something good to deal with.
Okay, quickly.
Initially a little reticent to stray too far off his line. About 250 from Chesterfield here today, by the way, so quite a lot fewer than they would have liked to have been able to bring.
We travel well, the Chesterfield supporters. We normally go in the thousands to different places, despite being in the National League.
Yeah, well, Tony Blanchard was telling me that he was quite gobsmacked after the draw was made that's what Chesterfield were talking about. Can you accommodate 1,500 or 2,000 of your supporters at your ground? And I think they were equally stunned to discover that he's not used to accommodating more than 200.
Yeah, that's right. I can understand why certain clubs would play the game, and I don't think they're allowed anymore, but in the past you'd go and play at a bigger stadium. It would help no end, but you know, the community element of this game has been fantastic for Anstey.
Beswick trying to get Wakefield in behind, but it's well marshalled by Jones. They did look at alternatives. If they hadn't been able to get the logistics sorted out, they would have needed to do that. And there was even a conversation with Leicester City, only a couple of miles away, as to whether or not the King Power would have been available. It would have been available tomorrow, but with Leicester playing at home today, there was no way the groundsman was going to let 2 games of football take place on a pitch across the same weekend. So that thought was very quickly kiboshed, as was any thoughts that they would flip the tie, because that would need it to have been done on police advice.
Yeah, a lot of logistics to been had, if you get what I mean, regarding going over to Leicester. But yeah, obviously there's an appetite for the game for that to have even been a thought in the first place.
They would have made more money from it, Anstey. They'd have been able to accommodate more people, but they wouldn't have had this occasion.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's important.
Funny, except we're not in the league, it's the FA Cup. League doesn't matter at this moment in time.
For their first game and experiencing this amount of people and this energy and the cameras all at their local stadium. And then for the players as well, they wouldn't have played against a team of this magnitude and that, you know, with the stadium so full. So it's a great occasion for all, and you can see the turnout's amazing.
Asante, little bit fortunate the ball came to him.
Oh, offside.
In an offside position, Conrad Logan still came up with the save.
Yeah, slightly offside there, Asante. Just shuffling his way through. Logan gets his angles right. Just say it wouldn't have counted anyway, but Logan doesn't know that at the time.
Really showing too much of a threat in this second half as yet, Anstey Nomads, but
Come on, Chesterfield. Try and get a third.
Chesterfield territory. Tom Bayliss, brother of Shrewsbury's Tom, with the throw. Tom Bayliss might be familiar with supporters of Preston and Wigan, where he's previously had spells.
You've got to love Paul Cook, his enthusiasm for the game. And I'm sure you can hear him, he's just so enthusiastic about every run, closing the ball down, the work rate of the players, and he was saying to Joe quickly, "Go on, Joe, you made it," and he got his rewards for it. His team had possession of the ball, but he's enthusiastic. His enthusiasm is fantastic.
He was talking yesterday about a fantastic tie, but not one that he was necessarily all that pleased to be involved with, fraught with danger as it was. A very professional job done under difficult circumstances by his team. And a change for the visitors.
Oh, quasi Santi! Oh, quasi Santi! Good, Santi! Had a good game. Shimanga! 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 Shimanga!
Good spells of goal scoring and really positive displays, especially last season he was really good. So he'll want to get a goal here today, get himself back in, and in the starting 11 he won't have liked to have been sat on the bench.
He's had a spell out with a broken leg this season. This is his 8th appearance as a substitute in the campaign. He's only started one game, and that was last weekend, the defeat by Eastleigh. Free kick, handball against Oldacre, and they wanted to get on with it. Well, change on the way as well for Anstey Nomads, their first of the game. The FA Cup always throws up a few curiosities regarding players, and coming on is one who hasn't played for 6 weeks, because that's when he decided, you know what, I'm not quite sure about this football lark anymore. I'm going to accept the offer of a job as a tattoo artist. Charlie Scanlon into the action, replacing Harry Wakefield. Contacted the manager to let him know he'd cancelled his bookings for this weekend, so if he needed another left footer in the matchday squad, he was willing to be involved.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Not brilliant if you booked him for a tattoo and you've waited a long time for it, but for him it's fantastic.
Maddie's free kick comes off the head of a Chesterfield defender. It will be Anstey Nomads' throw.
At least he's got his game. He's come out there, Charlie Scanlon today, put himself out of his work, and at least he's getting his minutes.
I understand he is quite an accomplished artist, which is why the transition into tattooing was seemed like a natural one for him to make.
If he can create something here that can help Anstey Nomads.
They're outnumbered here though.
Okay.
Further flex their muscle, and look who it was marauding forward, the substitute George Cooper, and the corner kick.
Yeah, good run. He's 2v1, but Bestwick does really, really well to track the runner. He's done 50 yards there to make sure. And he has to get his angles right and not make a challenge and bring somebody down. He does ever so well to make the challenge at the right time and put it out for a corner. Just telling him to step onto this. Important you go on the back foot as a defender. You go and step onto it and attack the ball. He's telling his team, Paul Cook.
Jeff King had to abort the initial delivery as Aaron Jackson sorts out some pushing and shoving. Bongo Shimanga is the Chesterfield player with whom he was just having a polite word.
You often find when a referee does that, they give the foul on the slightest little thing second time.
Maybe that explains why King has gone short into the feet of Mandeville, who returns it for the slight change of angle for the delivery. Oldacre. Really good pass from Oldacre, who was then bundled over subsequently, and give that little inquiring glance to see whether that had been spotted by the referee. Reeve, really good hold-up play. Many.
So that's the frustration. Reeve does ever so well when the ball comes up and fights off two.
I'm doing well. Chesterfield are 2-0 up. Ding dang do. What a great day. So hopefully next that England get a win in the opening game of the Rugby League World Cup.
King favourite to get there. Having done so, he couldn't also keep the ball in play.
He's full pelt downside there.
So you know it's Luton Town 1-0 up against Queen's Park Rangers, and it's Rotherham 1, Huddersfield 1. And in the Premier League it's Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0. And at half time in the other FA Cup tie, it's Blythe Spartans 0, Wrexham 0.
Contemplate how a major FA Cup upset has been executed by their opponents.
And in the two early games in League 2, it's Hartlepool United 0, Harrogate Town 2. And it's half time between Mansfield and Walsall, which is 1-1.
Say at this level you can get away with it sometimes.
Shimanga against Annabelle. This is Oldacre. Mike Jones encouraged forward by his manager.
Come on, Chesterfield.
Cooper allowed to shake the shot.
Oh!
Deflected wide when he thought that might just be in the neighbourhood of the target.
Yeah, does well just to manipulate the ball round onto his left foot, Cooper. In dangerous position, he gets his strike away, and you look at Conrad Logan, who was stranded. Deflected out for a corner ball. That's where they need to get Cooper, in those little pockets. Early, get the ball to him, he can create.
King's corner. Flutter from him. This is Cooper from Oldacre's pass. Comfortably dealt with in the end by Logan. I'm sure the goalkeeper at the other end was expecting it to reach him. He would not have been stationed there if he realised just how far Conrad Logan could drop kick the ball.
For a split second, I thought he was going to catch it. It looked like he was waiting to catch it. But it's a great defensive header.
You can see the cogs working. Am I outside my penalty area? Away before Clements could make further progress. Shimanga. Well, he's the one that's been penalised, and they have done a great job at times of standing really firm, the Anstey Nomads defenders. It was Lewis Gibbons on occasion.
Come on. Come on, Chesterfield.
Both Annabelle and Gibbons, when they've been in 1v1 situations, they've often made the right choice, when to tackle, when to usher out, how to shepherd the attacker away from goal. It's been impressive.
Mandeville being chased by Reeve. Gave him a little point of notice that he was right on his shoulder. Grimes. Clements. Oh, now an opportunity.
Dale Banks, GR, room 457 199.
All about retaining possession, and he wasn't able to do that.
The decision was made for him. He kept running and gave the defender time to come back and nick it off him. It's a good opportunity, that. He had one player to the right, one player to the left, and shows, the higher up you go, you have to make decisions, you have to make them quickly, and you have to execute.
2-0 again. Never a win's a win. You get into the first round proper of the FA Cup.
Still plenty of
yourself a goal. Plenty of time to set the cat amongst the pigeons.
They might get to the third round again.
Robinson is described by his manager as the most intelligent player in the team. Graduate of Loughborough University. Mandeville.
And also at the same time, come on, Blythe Spartans beat Wrexham. They get off at 1 o'clock and it's 0-0.
Yellow card for a Chesterfield player.
Yeah, right decision. And it is good. It's actually good play from Hollis. Hollis knocks the ball. Cook's fully committed.
Stupid. There was no need to make a challenge like that. You get.
If you're looking at it now from an Anstey point of view, you're thinking if you're Hollis or Scanlon or Reeve across the front, can you get in and around Joe Cook's feet? He's on a yellow card. How can you gain an advantage? It's moments like that they need to replicate.
And also on commentary for this game, legend.
A local lad. Grew up in Anstey. Went to the local school. Coaches kids football.
Do not concede.
Hollis with a swing.
Oh, nearly 2-1 there.
Fitzsimon's at full stretch.
It really is a good save because he hits the ball so well.
Anstey Nomads nearly scored, folks.
And he's going right in the top corner of the strike, and Fitzsimmons equal to it. Superb save.
Well, he's had to make a good save in each half.
Legend on the commentary is aka Danny Webber. Yeah, because he's... I didn't know that. Because he sometimes does all like the FA Cup games on the BBC. He wasn't a bad player. I saw him playing for Sheffield United. But apart from that, it's not really... And also he played for Salford and actually did quite well with them. And also, folks, hopefully England can bag a win as well today.
Round of qualifying for the FA Cup. Very much landed on Anstey Nomads. Manager down on his haunches, Tony Blanchard has
Come on, England.
not had too much time for sleep and an awful lot to deal with. And he admitted to me yesterday that at that point, as he was putting up a marquee and shifting beer around and making sure that the bumper crowd would be catered for, that he would prefer not to have another FA Cup tie to deal with this season, certainly not at home, but his body language at the moment suggests that he's still very heavily invested in this competition and is hoping that his side might be able to get themselves back into it. Reeve into a really good area. It's Scanlon, the substitute, who couldn't quite bring the ball under control.
It's a massive moment again. Great running from Reeve.
Beswick. And the effort from Armeni is deflected.
Enthusiastic. No, they're not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination, and that run from Reeve, ball inside to Scanlon. Scanlon's touch is better. Watching the Chesterfield defence, they're not set, they weren't ready. And a better touch enables him to get his shot away. And unfortunately for Anstey on that occasion, it's not the case.
Nomads still in with a chance with 20 minutes to play. A team that's without one player today because he's on holiday in Croatia. Another who's playing just after recovering from a broken wrist, which he suffered on a night out. These are all the kind of problems that managers in the Football League don't have to worry about. And they can focus on coaching a team of professional footballers, very much amateur at this level, and very much an awful lot of plate spinning to contend with.
Yeah, of course. I think it's very, very difficult when you have a job and you play football to find any time to get the balance right for things like holidays and family, and you need to try and get the balance right because a lot of these lads will be working long hours throughout the week.
Some of them don't like training any more often than once a week, so difficult is it to balance that with their full-time employment and matters around the family and friends. But They are really digging deep to try and prolong this thrilling FA Cup adventure, and they've won themselves a corner kick.
You have to look at it now and think, we've got 20 minutes, we've got nothing to lose, we're still in the game. Fans are behind us.
Go on, don't concede.
Beswick standing over the set piece. Delivered with hope rather than expectation, but Hollis might be able to make something of the situation. Got Holbaker for company.
Those decisions that make a difference. You know, could he bring the ball down there? Retain possession. Excellent play.
Really neat footwork again at times. There has been a demonstration.
Oh, that's good football. He's not offside, ref.
Just releasing a player who'd gone a fraction too soon.
Yeah, shouldn't be offside there, Cooper. Just has to hold his run, and he's got all the grass to run into. I think Paul Cook's worried, not worried, wrong word. I think he's making sure that his team are focused, because he knows there's been a few little scrambles in and around near his goal. And one clean strike away.
Legend, nothing but a legend.
Just wants to make sure they do a professional job and finish the game.
I won't say.
The side of it, you know, he expected respect from Chelsea.
Paul Cook, legend.
Willing to extend that same courtesy to Anstey Nomads. He's been the David in this situation. Not too often that Chesterfield, a club of their size, is the Goliath in the discussion, but that's the position they find themselves in today.
That's right, and you think with the intensity and the way he's playing.
And that's not a foul, ref.
Anstey, all the respect in the world, he's come with a strong side. You know, he's demanding from them.
Try and do something with these set pieces. Are many.
Well done, keeper.
Comfortable playing the once upon a time Crystal Palace youth team goalkeeper. Wonderful clearance as well to find.
I still can't believe that in Anstey Nomads goal they got Conrad Logan as their keeper.
Wearing the strapping on his wrist. It's just the third game back since hijinks Christopher spell on the sidelines.
And he plays in that level and plays for his team for free.
You know, the arms were on Shimanga, but just slightly loses control of the ball. Commits the foul himself.
But the only thing is, except the difference is, he's gonna have money coming out of his ears because he's already had a career, and he's just at the age where it's ended for him. But he still wants to play, but wants to go down the lower levels. And he's a Scottish Cup winner. Do not concede, because I won't hear the end of it if they concede.
That's a really good challenge. And now the break is on, being led by Liam Mandeville. Shimanga. Thought he was in, went to ground, was convinced it should have been a free kick.
How is that no free kick? The referee's being biased.
Just tried to get forward, Shimanga, he slipped in.
Got another chance now. That was certainly a fair challenge, but with the goalkeeper a little bit not where he needed to be. There was plenty to aim at from distance.
Yeah, Shimanga it was trying to get in. He was pulled back. I think it was Hannibal. He just pulled his arm back. No, the referee just letting it go again.
There's like a collective spirit again amongst the minnows that is continuing to give Paul Cook moments of anxiety. This is not as straightforward with 75 minutes played as I imagine he thought it would be when they were 2-0 up on 45 minutes.
Just calling both captains in here, the referee. Making sure that order is brought back. We're bringing the Chesterfield captain in.
Well, Holbaker has been in since he was penalised for a free kick a few moments ago, and clearly that thought process.
What's wrong with him?
To be shared with the referee, so Jamie Grimes is brought into the conversation.
Chesterfield players feel that when they make a challenge, they're giving away a free kick and they're not afforded the same courtesy the other way. That's where the frustration comes from.
Do not concede. Well done, keeper.
Command of the situation.
Just saying, calm down. Simon's trying to take the sting out of the game.
That's something he can offer. 28-year-old goalkeeper.
Someone's theory is coming true yet again because Huddersfield are losing again.
Playing in Gibraltar. Here he is as Wharton really properly descends, playing his football in the FA Cup in rural Leicestershire. You never quite know what path is going to take the.
Well done, Fitzsimons.
Doesn't know what to pinch the ball away from him there.
Great opportunity. Just a nick in front of the keeper. He'd have been in clean on goal.
We are going up, we're going up. We are going up, we're going up.
Just hearing Paul Cook say it there, he's, every foul.
We're going everything further in the competition, so we're going up, up, up.
He wants it to be fair. He doesn't feel it is.
And then we can go and focus on getting promoted.
The manager during the game, apologies if some of the language is tipping over into being a tad too colourful. Paul Cook is
We are good enough.
how much passion he has for this particular game and how determined he is that just as a year ago he can lead this Chesterfield side into the first round proper of the FA.
That guy's a legend, always will be a legend.
Put in these boys, the Anstey boys, and the intensity of the game will be higher than they've been used to. It's not only that, coming into these games, nervous energy plays a part. You can prepare as well as you want, and you can eat the right things and sleep and, drink the right amount of fluids, but nervous energy can tighten you up.
The right type of fluids as well.
The right type of fluids, you're right.
It's been an adventure for them that started at the very first stage of the FA Cup, the extra preliminary round. They saw a fellow, in fact it was a team from a division below them, the 10th tier side, Radford, in a replay. They needed a replay to get past a team lower ranked than them before then facing three other sides from the 9th tier, which is the level that they play their football at. They got past Ilkeston Town at the 7th tier after a replay on penalties at the second round of qualifying.
Come on, don't concede.
National League Chesterfield, but with an awful lot of work to do.
Whoa! Sit down, Nomads, sit down. Oh, yeah, you can't because your ground's on nothing but standing.
A few times from Reeve where he gets down the outside and just keeps pushing it and pushing it. He does cover ground well.
They have, but it's never been this far.
Because you get tired as well, you make more tired decisions and it's harder to get your technique right. As you see there, it's Sam Hollis who was cramping up. And once you've had cramp and you on the pitch, it doesn't disappear. It all takes a yard away from you, and you're always aware that you jump for a ball or you sprint for a ball, it's coming back again.
Come on, Kabongo, I want you to get a goal.
Great composure by Lewis Gibbons, who will return next week to his work as a teaching assistant at the adjacent school. They are due to play on Tuesday without their manager. Whether they progressed in the FA Cup or forced to replay, anyway, they will have a league game on Tuesday without the boss around.
No, he likes to show passion.
Was that Chesterfield in an FA Cup replay? Grimes by Gibbons. Jones finds Mandel. Advantage being played. Quigley. And that's well blocked in front of the goalkeeper by Annabelle.
Two centre-backs in Annabelle and Gibbons. The amount of times you've thrown their body in the way, and it's had a positive impact on the team. Been really impressed. And they are a reason as to why the score has stayed where it is, because they've been focused, resolute. Should be proud of the way they performed so far.
Chesterfield Paul Cook there, reminding his players of their responsibilities to keep a level head. No need to go gung-ho for a third goal. No need for the greater security if it exposes them to a risk at the other end.
Important now. If the ball's coming in, you stay narrow.
Come on, let's try and get a third.
Keep compact, it's harder to be broken through. From Anstey's point of view, can the delivery be good? Can you win the first one and then more importantly the second ball?
Wolf towards Beswick. Reeve working hard to make sure the throw-in goes Anstey's way.
You could just nick a goal now, Stephen. It would really change the complexion of the game.
Bedlam in here if they were to get one back, and Scanlon it was who had the opportunity. Far from straightforward, and he could only pick out the goalkeeper.
Yeah, good throw-in. Again, ball's flicked on, and it's Scanlon who just can't generate enough power. And he fell into the arms of the calmest man in the stadium, Fitzsimons. He didn't feel threatened at all.
Well, maybe a moment now that they can make absolutely sure.
Oh!
No, it still won't go in.
No!
Astonishing block first on the line, and then the save from Conrad Logan, showing athleticism that probably a 36-year-old shouldn't be demonstrating.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we spoke about Annabelle throwing his body on the line, and it was him again on the line, and Conrad Logan gets back in his position, and it's a superb reflex save.
Getting on with it, Mandeville.
Mandeville.
I think they deserve
Key! Kabongo! Hey, Kabongo! Krabby! Gets the confidence flowing back for him to go and start scoring freely.
Yeah, they got the rewards in the end. Logan's not happy about it, but it was Chimanga who just got the tap in 2 yards out, ball cut back to him, and I think that's good night. It's the goal they needed. He really did. I think in the second half they probed and not got anything for it. Chimanga gets his goal.
These were changes that Anstey were preparing to make before the concession of what looks to be the tie clinching finish. Billy Blackshaw and Casey Richardson, the two coming on for Freddie Robinson and Sam Hollis, respectively. And for Casey Richardson, this is an opportunity in the FA Cup, having only made his full debut in the League Cup last weekend. A lad who's had a long association with Anstey, has been involved in the youth setup here ever since he was at infant school, and who 3 years ago very nearly quit. In fact, his manager had to take a call from his mum whilst he was on a romantic break in Barcelona to convince him that he had a future playing football at a decent level.
Hopefully England win.
It's nice for those boys to get minutes as well, to come on, get a bit of experience against a team higher up.
Tom Whelan is readying himself on the touchline.
I've got the English lineup, but I've not been able to find the one done by Samoa. Because they've not actually released their lineup at all. So I just got the lineup for England.
There was lingering jeopardy before the third goal. You feel that is no more. Not far many for the Chesterfield throw. Whilst there's been plenty of admiration for Anstey Nomads getting this far, I have to say Chesterfield deserve a huge amount of credit for the way that they have gone about this. Joe Quigley departs, and in his place comes Tom Whelan, who is a player who is potentially playing for his Chesterfield future, because he's only just back from a one-month loan spell at fellow National League side Aldershot, and he was a player that his manager was hoping to have a look at today.
I think the beauty with strikers is that if you get yourself in the team and score goals, you know, that's your currency. You can be quickly back in the side or of value to somebody else. It's just about sticking the ball in the back of the net.
A red card midway through his spell with Aldershot, somewhat restricted the amount of football he played, just the 4 games during that month-long loan spell for Tom Whelan. Tony Blanchard knows that he will be able to depart on the 50th birthday holiday to Malaga tomorrow with a job very well done in terms of guiding Anstey Nomads to this stage of the FA Cup for the first time. They've got a taste for it now. Maybe in the not too distant future we will see them having another crack at the first round proper.
I think he can be really proud of the way, you know, his team have gone about the business. You know, he's shown passion, and he'll be revered within the local community for sure.
Mandeville. Street, as Gibbons has just demonstrated. And you would expect that from a team that is unbeaten in 15, that's won 11 of their last 13, that really has known very little other than positive results since the very opening day of the season. Not been beaten since the end of July before today, but they've not faced an opponent of this kind of quality.
No, they're not used to losing, not used to the feeling of losing. It won't feel nice, but as you say, you can look at it and say we're playing very good opposition, and we've put in.
And one thing I will say to that is he's a legend. I love him. The only part of the only Sales side in rugby union to actually win Guinness Premiership. Yeah, we bought him from Wigan Warriors. We bought him from Wigan Warriors, which was a big feat back then, because he was the biggest star back then. So everybody wanted him. And it looks like this team could be another Sale team that could go on and win the league, but the one thing that's stopping them could be Saracens.
Paul Cook thought should have been utilised. Instead for it went to Shimanga. Here's Jones, Mandeville. King. Grimes. Whelan. Simply a real determination to make sure that even at 3-0 down, the tackles are completed.
That door was completely closed. Completely.
4 minutes.
To the tackle there, the defender was having none of Tom Whelan getting through there. And to be fair, Tom Whelan was lucky not to be hurt. It was a full-blooded challenge. Managed to ride it.
Bestwick.
61 minutes between Blythe Spartans and the Wrexham, and it's still 0-0. And it looks like it's going to finish in the Premier League. Leicester City 0, Crystal Palace 0.
He's ruffled a few feathers along the way, but
What a boring game that would have been to watch.
not given up. Been at it from the first minute to the last.
4 minutes of stoppage time might be elongated ever so slightly. Clements not full kindly. That's the first time that Logan has failed to come up with something from a clearance. He's been very good with his feet today, the Anstey goalkeeper.
Trying to see it out professionally now. Managing the game, keeping the ball, run down the clock.
Beaten by Eastleigh, Dagenham and Redbridge and Maidenhead. That was the first defeat of the season since they last won a game. Chesterfield, doesn't matter the competition or the opponent, getting back to winning ways after 3 successive defeats, vitally important for them today, especially if you consider just how tremendously they started the season, unbeaten in 10, on the top of the National League until the turn of the month. Whelan. Trying to get too much of that to Beswick. Richardson went to ground and thought that was deserving of a free kick. Oldacre with the switch of play for King. Shimanga. Whelan. Patient this from Chesterfield, but there might yet be one more opportunity for them to score. King. It opened up nicely for the shot, but on the weaker left foot of Jeff King.
It did open up nicely, but it would have to be something special to score from there, and it wasn't. They have been good value, Chesterfield. In fairness, they've done the job. They hit the post, they hit the bar.
They were the higher ranked side to be shot down today, and the draw is made for the first round proper on Monday. Well, there's every chance that it could be they who are glancing forward towards the opportunity to cause an upset of their own. The sides from League 1 and League 2 will join.
Can you give us Grimsby Town? Can you give us Stockport? Or could you give us AK Mansfield, please? If we got in the hat.
As for Anstey Nomads, well, they've successfully navigated the previous.
When we got a rival. We have a bit of rivalry last season with Stockport fighting for the league. We had one with we got a derby rivalry with Grimsby due to the fact they were one of the nearest teams to us other than Notts County in that league. And then the other one is Mansfield, because that literally is our local rivals. But we haven't played them in like 4 or 5 years. Full time, folks. Anstey Nomads 0. Chesterfield 3. I'll give Anstey Nomads a bit of credit. They actually played a good game. They actually gave themselves credit. They actually had chances. It's just our keeper kept them out. But I will see you guys in literally in 2 streaks of a lamb's tail for the first game of the Rugby League World Cup, which is England versus Samoa. Like, subscribe, and the bell